I'm Augustine Guzman, and it's my pleasure to introduce to you Diane Elizabeth Wailes. Actually, when I was reading the Reading for Leadership on the Line, I came up to a portion that I think very much fits Reverend Diane. Someone with solutions that require a minimum of disruption is not the kind of leader she is. But she practices adaptive work, which creates risk, conflict, and instability because she addresses the issues underlining adaptive problems and which may involve upending deep and entrenched norms. I think her leadership style is one of transformation. She also reminds me of a saint by the name of Saint Bernard Brent, Bridget in my Catholic tradition. And St. Bridget was a mystic, but an administrator. And my sense is from talking to Diane Elizabeth and also seeing the Reverend in work, her interaction with fellow ministers. It seems that she's a person that understands administration and yet has a very deep mystical part of her. She was born in New York to parents, a Marine sergeant, staff sergeant, and Mrs. O.C. Lee Andrews. She grew up as a Seventh day Adventist and later joined the Christian Tabernacle Baptist Church, where she gave her life to Christ in New Haven, Connecticut. She moved to Baltimore in 1981 for work opportunities. She was invited to Paine during a Woman's Day revival in 1983. She founded a home and two great leaders and mentors in her life, the now Bishop Mackenzie and evangelist Joni Hunter. She joined the Paine Memorial AME Church 2 years later. She has served as president of the Women's Choir, vice president of the Mass Choir, chaplain of the Mass Choir, on the praise and worship team, and is steward under 3 pastoral assignments. Sister Wailes answered her call to ministry under the pastoral leadership of Reverend Dr. Michael O. Thomas. She preached her trial sermon on March the 24th, 2025. The title of her trial sermon was I Must Be Out of My Mind. Realizing that this journey for ministerial service had begun well into her 50s, which I find hard to believe because to me, she looks 21. When she was looking forward to retirement, she smiles at the title of her trial sermon, understanding that she had to be out of her mind and into the mind of Christ to survive the journey. Again, this is something that all mystics have, a deep sense of the Lord and where the Lord is leading them. And trying to do the will of God is what they are all about. Though she was striving for local orders, Sister Wailes was not required to go further in her education. But after a meeting with her pastor at the time, the Reverend Dr. Michael O. Thomas, who suggested she completed her college education, she quickly committed to the task. I asked the Reverend why she was not a local pastor, and she couldn't be a pastor because of her age, which I really found a sad situation because the church could they're utilizing her, but the church could also utilize her in a more effective way, in a more thorough way. She told me the one thing she can't do is consecrate the elements. And so she has to have some pastor come in before her and consecrate the elements, but that she can do the rest of the service. She's been the district superintendent. She's been on the pastor's study, the pastor's Bible. She is um, uh, which is a district superintendent of 28 churches and women and ministry. She puts out a letter called Welling Up that she established. And so therefore it's very It's very informative. It talks about local AME leaders and their history. And this particular one on April 2025 dealt with women in the ministry in the AME church, particularly celebrating the legacy of Amanda Berry Smith. I found in talking with the Reverend that she was a person that was always looking for more opportunities, more ability to go forth and to present herself, to offer herself for the church at large. I found that she was a individual that did a tremendous job of understanding herself, understanding her congregation, that she was a listening ear, a mentor, a steady Eddie type that they could always come to when they wanted something to be done or accomplished. She has the gift of being a charismatic leader and a transformative leader. And I really found my interactions with her very rewarding. And I left after talking with her in a better spirit and understanding of the AME Church. It's my pleasure to have presented her to the class, and I do so with the sense that she's a person that is worth getting to know and a person that you can count on that is going to go even further in her ministerial work.